Oh, fuck, no, I'd boot over. Rosie, boot over.
I'll boot over.
Dan, boot over.
I'd boot overs.
Katie, boot over.
I'd boot over.
Gary, boot over.
I'm surprised we're not booting over right now.
Fuck, boys. Let's boot it.
Oh, yeah. We're back.
Yay!
Little old school there. Yeah, our good buddy Jack over at Hard Money Saints.
Our original.
Our OG,
band.
the OG tune for us. And that's just because I'm waiting to get some new ones. And that's where I am. So, yeah. You ready to boot over?
I'll boot over.
So, before we get started, we got a new Patreon member, and we love our Patreon members. At the $5 level, a fellow named John Kearney, who has pledged to us and wants to give his partner, her name is Lindsay Granger, business some promotion here. Skyclad Apothecary. Skyclad Apothecary has curated a collection of zero-waste ingredients to keep every witch ready to perform their magic. The collection includes the raw materials for homemade skincare, cleaning, and aromatherapy products, all of which have both mundane and magical properties. Each product can be purchased in zero-waste packaging or in a customer's own container. Website, skycladapothecary.com. So...
That's awesome. I had to look that up because I used to work with somebody with that name, and I was like,
oh, yeah?
huh.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. So, I mean, a good Lindsay.
Yeah.
We've got two good Lindsays
Yeah.
to one bad Lindsay who's out there.
True story.
So just kind of rehashing everything. Cosplay contest always open. Feel free to reach out to us. howareyounowpod.com/cosplay. We're always looking for good independent bands. If you have a band who you are not signed and you would like to have your music featured on our intro and outro, as we've done here today with Hard Money Saints, reach out to us. Hosts at howareyounowpod.com. Also, if you have dad jokes,
Or, you want to drunk dial me because you've been in isolation for almost a whole year now?
Sure, that too. Leave us lewd, breathy messages, whatever it works. 304-50 Ferda. So, like I said, music this week, Hard Money Saints. And so, yeah, going old school. And speaking of going old school, we've got our old buddy, Rene Encarnacion, with us again. Rene, how are you now?
Oh, good, and you?
Oh, not so bad.
All right.
It's awesome having you back, man. We've missed you a lot.
Hell yeah.
I know you've gone through some stuff, but from it sounds like, tell us about what's been going on with you and what you've been, what's shaking.
Yeah, I've since last being on, I've moved out of the horrible town of Aurora, Colorado, which is god awful, just god awful. Got a little more back to the city life. I'm living by Denver University now. Things are fucking good though. Got my own place. Don't have share a freaking giant. A tiny apartment with giant people. My last roommate was like 6'3" and like stomped around the place like a freaking ox. It was obnoxious. Like, god damn, dude. Like, have some self-conscious, like some awareness of space, bro.
Seriously.
Like,
figure it out.
But pull your finger out of your ass. But no, things are fucking great, man. Things are really great. Started my own podcast finally.
Nice. What is it? Tell us about it.
Perfectly Misfit. It's me and my buddy Dan, me and my army bro. Just basically being two disgruntled veterans, just talking crap. Usually we're like, so far we haven't really set a theme.
Yeah.
We just shoot the shit. The one thing I always bring up, because we're both huge podcast fans, so we bring up what our favorite podcast of the week was. We're both big foodies and cooks. Like, he's a single dad, so he's always cooking for his kids. So we always talk about something interesting we might have had that week to eat. Like last week, revelation. Rene, as a 37-year-old man, has never had a fucking patty melt, and God, are they delicious! Holy shit! I'm like, I got mad at my boy Dan. I'm like, bro, you've known me all this time, and you didn't tell me how delicious they are. Fuck, man. patty melts are the shit. I don't even really like Swiss cheese, but holy shit.
Yeah.
It all just ties together. It's just, melty goodness.
Yeah. Melt in food, and it just makes you think of cheese, and my mouth was watering already.
Mine too.
Yeah. I'm sorry to do it to you.
I just made grilled cheese for lunch.
It's
so.
true.
Honestly, I think, I grew up in New York City, and I've been to hundreds of thousands of diners probably, and it's always on the menu. But for some reason, that Swiss cheese, it always threw me off. I'm like, I think I'm good. Never. And then they were making it at, I'm now a member of the Fraternal Order of Eagles.
Nice.
And that's where I had my first patty melt. Yeah. So
my mom's an Eagle, right?
I know she goes over to the Eagles. I don't know if I don't know if she's a member.
A lot of the times the Elks, Eagles, like VFWs, they all
blend together.
So she could be one and just hangs out at the other. Or she could be a member of all of them. Actually,
She could be. I
you
have
could be
no
an
idea.
elk, you could be an eagle.
She was a lot more active before she got cancer, so I don't know. And then now the pandemic. So I really don't know.
That's been the gist of my social life for the past couple months. I met them and they welcomed me in, and I got initiated a couple weeks ago and met some really freaking cool people. Our biggest charity we support is BACA, which is Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're a genuine motorcycle club.
Right.
And that.
I think I've seen stuff from them over the years.
Yeah. They show up to whenever there's a domestic abuse court case with involving a child, they'll be outside that jail or that courthouse, making sure that kid gets all the support he needs.
Good.
Fucking love that.
Yeah. That's,
but besides that, things are good, man.
And
fucking cold as a witch's tit here in Denver right now. It was -6 this morning when I walked the dog.
See,
it's not that cold here, but
we're breaking records in Seattle, though. We have record snowfall going on right now. It's the first time in decades that we've had a high that did not break freezing. That was yesterday. It's been snowing here where we live in Seattle. It's right on the edge of the convergence zone. So right north of us, they usually get snow, and south of us, they don't usually get snow. But right now, south of us has about 3 times as much snow as we do because the storm came from the south.
Nice.
So yeah, it's crazy. I haven't.
Sounds like a bad horror movie came from the south.
Dude, seriously.
The
last time.
Most bad things come from the south.
I lived in Seattle for most of my life, and I looked up the last time we got this much snow because the last thing I could remember was when I was in high school, and I thought, well, there's got to be something. But no, the last time we got this much snow was in 1996 when a tree fell on my car. And that's why that winter was memorable for me.
It's funny. I believe we had a bad blizzard in New York. I believe it was the blizzard of 96.
That would make sense.
Shut down the whole city.
That would make sense. These big storms, it's not, this is the same storm stretching across the whole country. It's just affecting different areas differently because of what direction it's coming from or what it's hitting on the way there or whatever. And it just was perfect timing for the stereotypical snowfall. Seattle does not get light, fluffy inches. We get a little bit of snow and then it'll melt and freeze and melt and freeze and melt and freeze until we have 6 inches of ice. But this is over a foot of snow, actual snow.
Nice.
Looks like some Letterkenny snow.
Yes. Yeah, it does. It really does.
Speaking of which.
I guess we can talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about Letterkenny. So season 9, we're still on it. Last week, just to recap real quick, was episode 3 with our buddies Tim and John over at Armbar Audio Podcast.
That was a great episode.
So much fun.
Those guys are
first timers. They were fucking awesome.
Yeah, they were great. We chatted about Katie going scorched earth and her having problems while Gaylor, she hooked it up. So she got that 3-hander going, and she's all good. So that was a great episode. Now we're gonna deep dive into Mitzvah, episode 4. So our cold open, we start with Wayne and Rosie having a double date with Dan and his sweetie Ellen. Dan is hoping this will allow him to have just regular conversation.
Regulare.
Yeah. Regelmissig, as the Norwegians would say. Almost all of Dan's conversations, they're called Dan and Ellen's conversations, ended up being about sex. So he's hoping to just have some regular stuff. Ellen shows up, meets Wayne and Rosie. Then she offers to go get him a beer. Then the beer puns ensue. And so they're all cute and playful until Gail shows up when she talks about having to book her Pabst smear.
Everyone gets silent. And then Ellen.
And then Ellen's like, this is my jam. And so she plays right in. Yeah, so she's ready to go. They're just spitting them back and forth. And Gail's like, I like her.
Yeah.
So this is my people. So she approves. Anyway, so now we cut from there. We cut to the kitchen table at the farm. The Hicks, including Rosie, are all around the table. They're hungover. Kind of like the beginning of that. So they're trying to decide what they're going to do to fix that, about going to get something to eat. Neither Katie or Rosie, I find that interesting about how it was the two women who get talked about. Who's going to cook? Not me, chickpeas. So anyway, they decide they're not cooking. They then start talking about fellas who can cook, and it goes a little something like, hang on. Where is it? Clip one.
Dudes who can cook can get it.
Like who's?
Wolfgang Puck. Wolfgang Buck.
Bobby Flay.
Bobby Lay.
David Changs?
David Bang.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Rams. Meh.
Fucks with the Sayer too much.
I love that throwback
A little
joke.
callback, yeah. So, then Derry tells them the good news that Gail is serving brunch at Modine's. They start talking about how hoity-toity brunch is, but they all decide to boot over to Modine's. Anyway, so from there, we cut to the hockey rink. The boys, Riley and Jonesy, walking down the hall. They run into Coach, and they find out the game got canceled because the other team doesn't have enough players.
Why? Because it's Sunday morning beer league hockey, you pheasant. I'm sorry.
Well, what do we do then?
Guys. Beer league hockey's not about playing hockey. Sure, the W's are really nice, but it's more about having some beers with the boys, before, during, and after the game. Friendship, camaraderie. Maybe like a nice autumn gourd, cream ale, or maybe a Danny Pinley friendly IPA. Just a hint of honey. Saying all that, why don't us three go for a beer right now?
Well, Sunday's wide open, buddy. What's the plan?
So they just skip
poor
out on
Coach.
Coach, let him go off on his own. They decided that they need to have sex with girls.
With girls.
And decide that they're going to hit up all their dating apps. But they just realize that there's not enough going on. At that moment, a fella shows up who offers to help them. Avi Goldstein wants to teach them about being Jewish so that they can go on dates with Jewish girls via the dating app JSwipe. And to kind of get them hooked, he tells them about Jewish girl blowies.
Growing up, Jewish girls go to sleepaway summer camp every summer where they practice giving blowies for like 2 months.
Oh, you could get really good at blowies on a program of that kind.
You'd be Blowy Sevigny.
Or Blowy Deschanel.
David Blowy.
A program of that kind. Anyway, so after all that, Riley and Jonesy
training camp.
Yeah, Riley and Jonesy are in. Yeah, what's that? What's that? The combine for that. So anyway,
So I was just thinking of it like American Pie.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So then we cut to Modine's. The Hicks all show up at the bar. Only to find that Gail has the hungover hornies. Katie says that there are two guarantees with being hungover, hungry and horny. Bonnie then comes out with shots saying that there's only one cure for the hungover hornies. So they all do shots. We cut back to the rink. Riley and Jonesy are in the locker room with Avi to begin their lesson. It's obvious that neither of them know anything about Judaism, and Avi explains why he is doing this.
We're here to learn, bro. I know, and part of me still wants to protect that reish, but there's this little thing in my religion called the Mitzvah, The act of doing a selfless good deed out of the kindness of one's heart. You're supposed to knock off as many of these as you can. You don't necessarily actively pursue them. They just somewhat present themselves to you.
So we're your mitzvah boys.
Mitzvah men!
Mitzvah men.
Class is in session.
Sick.
Tight! Hype.
Hype. So,
Bobby likes the word hype.
yeah, apparently, allegedly. Anyway, we cut to the skid basement, and after a long night of drugs and video games, Stuart and Roald can't really sort out what day it is. The one thing that Stuart does realize is that they haven't eaten. Roald informs Stuart that they are serving brunch at Modine's, which Stuart immediately scoffs at. However, he decides that they should go after doing first a train rip. So choo. Yeah. So now cut back to the bar. The bar is getting fuller. Rosie notices that there are a lot of dudes coming in wearing fedoras, and Wayne says that's why brunch is so.
Now, like town people don't say brunch, just like town people don't wear fedoras.
I know lots of town people who wear fedoras.
But do you care to?
I don't know. Truth.
Do you care to? Yeah, no. So they just, in the end, they just decide that they don't think that brunch should be a thing. So yeah, quit trying to make brunch happen. So from there, we cut back to the rink, and Avi has his whiteboard out. He's teaching the boys about the Hebrew alphabet, Judaism, Israel, the Torah, Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. The boys are getting it. And so from there, we cut to Modine's. The Hicks and Skids are at the bar after brunching, and they're just all full. Wayne and Rosie decide they're going to go have a nap. Stuart and Roald decide to leave and go play more games. Sex. Dan, Derry, and Katie, sex. decide that they need to go home and watch some Twister because it's playing on a Baker's Dozen channels around all the time. Bonnie then decides to join them. At that point, after everyone's leave, Jim Dickens shows up, and Gail wants to know if he's got the hungover hornies too. Sex. So finally, we cut back to the rink. The door opens up, and we see Riley and Jonesy coming out with a group of kids, just coming out of a hockey lesson. Avi comes around the corner to see that this is happening, and he's so proud of them that they're doing this mitzvah so early in their quote-unquote conversion. As it turns out, Riley and Jonesy have other plans with the hockey moms. So that's going to keep them busy, and it won't affect Avi's race. Avi is obviously super impressed. Fade to black. Real quick, now I'm going to let you say, because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Daniel Harroch. Is that right?
Dan Harroch.
Harroch, Harroch.
It's Dan Harroch.
Harroch. Okay, so he's the actor. He's the actor who plays Avi. He actually wrote this episode. He's an actual real life Jew, and for real, schnoz and all, as he says. So he's also known for Epic Mealtime and a few other web series. And so yeah. Brilliant episode. One thing that I noticed when going back to the very beginning, when Ellen shows up, played by Lily Gao, Gao, the actress who plays Ellen, she's 5'10".
She was like towering above Squirrely Dan.
Because
when they first came in.
I saw her. I'm like, she is fucking tall. She must be wearing heels. So
what's even funnier is like I always thought Dan is like 6 foot something.
Yeah.
So if she's 5'10" and taller than him, I mean I'm taller than Squirrely Dan.
Well,
that weirds me out.
How tall is K-Trev?
Yeah, I don't know how tall. I know Kiso is listed as 5'10" as well. So
okay, so I'm taller than everybody on the show, except for Jim Dixon.
Yeah, he's just a sea hair shy of 7 foot. But anyway, and also the one other observation that I had: "should we go" is a phrase that kept being used. Now I'm not sure. I don't have a clue of what that comes from, or you guys have any thoughts on?
I pointed that running joke out as well, like in my notes. I was just like the fucking ninjas or ninja shortage.
Right?
Should we go? DJ shortage in Ibiza. Should we go?
Model shortage for Victoria's Secret.
Speaking of Dan Harroch,
I had a feel. Dan, how are you now?
Not so bad. How are you guys? What's going on?
Dan, the proper response, because you're new here, is good and you.
Well, see, in the episode, Dan just kind of did it all himself. So
Yeah.
he didn't need anybody else. So, Dan, it's a pleasure to meet you. Dan, how do you pronounce your last name?
Harroch.
Harroch. Okay. Because I saw
what have you guys been saying behind my back?
Well, I wasn't sure. I thought it was like a K sound, so I wasn't sure. And then Rene says Harush, so Harroch, so almost RUSH kind of sound.
Yeah. It's never pronounced right, so don't you guys worry about that one.
With my last name is Giles, which is a G, and almost everybody says Giles. So, which is odd because there's
Guile is GU.
Yeah.
So then do you go like Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Exactly.
No, it's worse. It's worse than that because he's Dean Giles, so he's like Dean from Supernatural and Giles from Buffy. Oh yeah,
I've got my
Dorks.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Can I just get everybody's names real quick, just one more time, just
Tiara.
so we're all good?
Tiara with the
Dean.
T, like the
Dean and Tiara, Rene.
Tiara, got it.
Renee.
And Renee. Nice guys.
We just followed each other on the Tweety yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, awesome. I was searching you out, trying to because I hadn't seen you in anything. But I have seen you in something. I just didn't realize that I saw you. So you were in an X-Men movie.
Yeah, very briefly, very briefly. I'm just there wanding. Or I don't even know exactly what I'm doing. That was kind of a shit show of a day, and I got really lucky to be placed where I was, and it was a good time though.
That's awesome.
And then yeah.
So how did you get this gig?
It's kind of a long winding road how I ended up here, but the short and sweet of it is I met Tyler Johnson, who plays Stewart, in LA this one time through a mutual actor friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hadn't seen the show yet. It hadn't even come out. I think they had shot it and it hadn't come out yet. And basically one day I was working at Epic Mealtime at the time, and Chef Atari, the chef on the show, came by with a USB stick, and he said, "There's this show. It's called Letterkenny with this kid, Tyler B. Johnson. He's got these crazy dance moves." And he puts it on the TV, and I sit there and I watch the first episode, and exactly. I fell in love with the show and with the characters, and I watched the entire season through, and then by chance bump into Tyler Johnson again at Just for Laughs Festival, and we became buddies, and he introduced me to Jared, and Jared and I ended up on a hockey team together, and they were kind of mutual fans of Epic Mealtime, as I was of Letterkenny. And one day Jared just asked me to put in a script for an episode, and kind of brought me onto the team, and that's where it all happened.
That's cool. That's wild.
I've been a fan of Dan's and Epic Mealtime for probably 10, 11 years, pretty much since the start.
That's how I was when able. You guys were teenagers.
Sure.
You youngsters.
You guys got me through a lot of time and a lot of downtime when I was overseas, actually. So that was Epic.
Really?
Epic EMT was kind of a funny thing that I would just put on other soldiers to, and they'd be like, "The hell are you watching, Mike? We just watch." And everybody's in the freaking DFAC being like, "I'm the sauce boss." I'm like, how this just spread all over, over Camp Taji in Iraq. But yeah, that's how I was able to, I guess, weasel Dan onto the show today, was because I'm texting buddies with another member of the EMT crew, Adam Sand, and because I'm a comedian, Adam's a comedian, so I think that's how we kind of
right.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate this.
Guys, my pleasure, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I kind of let Dean know that I was trying to get you on. I forgot that I told him.
He said, I got a surprise, and I had a feeling.
Because he had said before that he knew you. So
Well, I didn't know Dan.
Or
I
knew
was
of.
I was able
Yeah.
to just weasel it in, and I'm really just happy you were able to come in, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
my pleasure.
Yeah, and if you hadn't been, I would have reached out to you to do an interview just on its own, because this episode it's odd for Letterkenny, but it fits so well in the Letterkenny universe. How did you come up with the idea for that?
I think through our discussions, I mean, Jared and I wanted me to do something that I kind of knew. And at the time, I was coming off of Epic Mealtime, so I knew food pretty well. That was, my world kind of revolved around food for like a nice 5-year period there. And then Judaism, of course, that's something that's important to me and that I grew up practicing. I'm not religious by any means, but we're very traditional in my family, and so that's something that we've always kind of cherished. So I think bringing those two together was an idea we had early on, and then I just pulled a lot from my actual life. Jared was kind of into the idea of me creating this character that talks like myself, the way I do around my buddies who I grew up with from that community. So that's kind of where we pulled all those, because that's really all those Jew jokes are really based in reality for me, at least, in the sense that they're coming from a real place of experience.
Yeah.
You're telling me Jewish girls really practice blowies 3 months a year?
We really do go to Jewish summer camp, and that's kind of like a rite of passage. I might have embellished a little bit with all the other stuff, but that really is a real thing. And yeah, so that's kind of where that came from.
That's hilarious.
I mean, technically, my first just about everything was at church camp. So
that's why, and that's the beauty about Letterkenny as a show. It's so universal in the sense that even though it's based in Canada and it's hockey players and skids and hicks, you take it out of Canada, put it in somewhere in Texas, and it's the same thing but with football players and less snow. So even though it is very particular in a sense, it's also very universal and associatable, and I think that's why it's had its widespread that it's had.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see.
I love it when I see new fans come on board. I mean, even though it's been now 9 seasons,
but in the U.S. anyway, considering that for people like us who had 1 year ago today was our last date outside of the house, people who have found it in the apocalypse. Are really clinging to it. And it's amazing watching how fast the online community is growing with people asking questions and searching for stuff. And
definitely. I mean, it's a community-based show, and it comes through. I mean, everybody in Letterkenny, regardless of how, if they're a hick, skid, what have you, they're family. So, and I think that comes through. I mean, even though you pick on family like you do, I think it's great. So, real quick, and I've seen this pop up a number of times with Riley and Jonesy. Is the wheels on the hockey bag really a thing?
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
I used to play hockey. I used to play roller hockey. Even roller hockey, you don't play that shit.
And I will admit, I definitely, when I was younger, I definitely did have wheels on my bag. And it wasn't until I moved up in the ranks a bit that I realized it was a big no-no. Luckily, I learned earlier on, so I didn't get chirped too badly about it. But
See, if you're that big, if you're that good, I would have somebody carrying. I mean, Riley and Joey in season 1, they had Schmeltz carrying their bags for them. So it's not like they were carrying their own bags.
The thing that I find really interesting about it is it's like the opposite with roller derby. When you first start, you've got like a duffel bag and your skates on the other shoulder, and you're like just carrying all your shit. And then by I don't know what year it would be, but for me it was like year 4. It was like rolling suitcase, helmet on the outside. Like I ain't touching that shit. I'm not picking it up. It's too smelly.
Actually, so the best one growing up was the kids who'd make their parents drag their shit too. There were those kids who were just like, fuck this. Totally. I'm not touching any of this. I just sweat for an hour and a half with all this shit. You lug it home. Throw it in the minivan yourself. I'm sitting up front with a Diet Coke.
It goes into the bag inside the car and does not come out until it goes directly into whatever you're washing it.
Put it in the trunk.
I lived in the Bronx and then played hockey in Manhattan. So can you imagine what I looked like getting on a fucking train, giant bag on the subway, and it's like a Saturday morning.
I mean,
I'm 11, 12 years old with a bag that's about the size of me. I can fit in that bag. But they're just like, what is this Puerto Rican? Where's he going?
It's New York. I expect to see some weird shit on the subway. So,
but I mean, like the way the subway works, though, is like when you go in between boroughs, like you see Manhattan people on the Manhattan stops.
Yeah.
Then they get off right before it hits the Bronx. You know, so it's just like, where's this kid going?
Hockey bag, it's not subtle, man. It's a big thing, but it's also got a presence because it's emitting an odor as well.
So then there'd be times where I would actually get on with my rollerblades as well, already on. So they're like, people are just like, what the hell does this kid up to? Hockey life is fucking dead. You got to be dedicated.
Yeah, at least no one's fucking with you there on the subway. This guy's a hockey player. He's got skates and a stick. Yeah,
I mean, watching most people on a New York subway, it's like everybody is like trying not to look at anybody else, because there's always the weird guy who's coming up and making weird statements as he's walking down, and everybody just kind of. I'm looking at this book upside down, and I've read the same page.
Light rail in Seattle too. when I used to commute all the way to like the other end of Seattle, and I don't know if you know it, but Seattle is long.
No, I've never been.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, we are almost as north as you can be and still be in Seattle, and so, God, what is it? About 12, 13 miles to get to downtown. And then another like 10, 12 to get, I don't know. And with traffic, like it's 45 minutes to go 15 miles at minimum.
What's that in kilometers?
What is that in kilometers?
You got to take the hypotenuse of the right.
I need to look that up. I'm going to have to look that up.
We're fucked up with that shit. So.
I used to have to take a bus to a train to a bus to get to the school that I worked at in South Seattle. And you have the big headphones, so it's really obvious you're wearing them. You have a book. It doesn't matter if you're actually reading it, and you keep your goddamn head down. Otherwise, someone is going to start a conversation with you.
In New York, you like literally like how, people forget something in the house. That one thing everybody runs back for if you're about to hop on the subway is your earbuds, because you don't want to hear anybody else's bullshit.
I believe
You're like, it already sucks that I have to take the train in the first place. So. Yeah, I'm being in my own little bubble until I get to wherever the hell I gotta go.
So Dan, I have a question about the episode. There's the actual episode. There's a phrase that has used a number of times. Should we go? When they're talking about there's a shortage of ninjas in China, which is fucking hilarious on its own. But
shortage of models in Victoria's Secret.
So where did that come from?
So I got to give Kiso a little bit of credit on this one, because I put my line in my initial draft was there's a shortage of ninjas in Japan, and then the other guy said, "Should we go?" And that's something that I used to do with a buddy of mine. Every time he'd say something, and I'd say, "Should we go? Should we go?" even regardless of how ridiculous it was to go there, I'd ask the question. So that's where that was from. And so, and then when I handed in Jared my draft, he had added in the other "should we goes" throughout the scenes.
You thought it was funny,
and
awesome.
Then he'd send it back because in the first draft he really liked that part and he laughed a lot at that, and so he expanded on it, which was a great idea. So when he sent it back, it said there's a shortage of ninjas in China, and so I told Jared, I was like, just so you know, I don't know if you did this on purpose, because Riley and Jonesy are idiots,
right? Exactly.
But ninjas hail from Japan,
right?
And he was like, no, that's on purpose. They're dumb, and They're dumb. They wouldn't know that.
Oh, that's perfect.
What's kind of funny, I low-key this whole time thought, oh yeah, that's right, ninjas are from China and the samurai are from Japan. And the samurai are from Japan, right? Yeah, duh.
They're all from Japan.
I'm just Riley dumb.
Yeah, that's where that was birthed.
So were you there for like all the? I mean, since you wrote it, were you there for all the scenes shooting it as well?
Yeah. I got to go and hang out and watch the other stuff, which was so great because I wanted to see, like, a dream of mine was to see Tyler and Evan work, and boy, did that dream pay off! It was so great.
I love those guys.
Oh my dear God,
yeah.
the train was fucking brilliant.
Those guys, that train scene, the Matrix dodging stuff.
Yes.
The only reason I think that ever made it through as a joke is it could be imagined as like something that Tyler and Evan can only make funny.
Yes.
Oh, right. Totally.
Absolutely.
And it's like, getting to watch them do it.
So that exact scene, the part where he was like, is there no decency? Is there no humanity? Is that from something?
That was added in on the day. So I actually didn't write that part in, but funny enough, like filming that was probably one of the funniest things I ever watched, because I think there was one part of that. It's a specific line because I think it is from something, right? And so there's a specific way to say it, and Tyler was messing up one bit of it, and so the take that you get in the actual episode, I think, is the one time that he nailed it, and what you don't get is the eruption of applause that happened after because he had finally nailed it. It was so great. He's such a great actor, Tyler Johnson.
See if you can release that as like a blooper reel.
The Letterkenny blooper reels are epic. Because the last part where it was basically supposed to be the Tony Stark Spider-Man thing where Evan is asking for mouth to mouth. I need mouth to mouth, Mr. Stark.
Sticking his tongue out. But then the choreography of dropping him and picking him up at this, like, that was just so beautiful.
Was smooth.
And I absolutely cannot see any other pair of actors do that. Like, that was so perfectly them.
Yeah, they've got this thing where they're so in sync, and so like even all of that, like, normally I feel like two actors trying to navigate this scene where one has to drop to the ground and pick him up and still be in the frame and still deliver the lines. Like, that's something that like I think you'd have to put a bunch of work into, and not to say that these guys don't put it, because I know for a fact that the night before they're doing it for hours until they get onto the set. But that kind of thing, I think some of that was them improvising on the day and just felt so fluid. They were able to just
they're both great.
Get right into it.
They're both great physical actors. I mean, So, I mean, so real quick, how tall is Lily Gao? Were you there during that open?
She's got to be wearing heels, right?
Because
This is what we were talking about right before you came in. Because K-Trev is 5'11", and IMDb says that she's 5'10", but she's easily like 3 or 4 inches taller than him in that scene.
It's funny because when I met her, I actually don't know, because when I met her, I was sitting down and she had come over to say hi, and we chatted really quickly, and then she went in to do her scene. But she seems pretty tall.
Yeah.
So I feel like 5'10", 5'11" would probably be accurate. Maybe, I don't know why. I mean, yeah, maybe she was wearing heels. That might have been it.
It just really stuck out. I'm like, damn, she is tall. I mean, she was definitely taller than Kiso, and just like that shy of,
well, there is, when Dan is watching her, he kind of looks, he does the looking up, which he doesn't do to most people. Yeah.
So
it's tough to say. I couldn't give you an exact comparison because I was sitting next to her when she came over, but
it's so funny because I watch her also, and we watch The Expanse, where she plays basically the galactic president or whatever, so which is a very different twist.
Yeah, that's such a different character.
Very much so. So and that's the thing I love about Canadian TV and film is how many of the same people that you get to see, and it's almost like it's home. You feel comfortable. There's a comfort level in that. So I mean, I love
Totally.
because I've been watching Tyler basically since he was 15 on Supernatural in season 1.
That still trips me out that he was 15 and that was 17 years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
How many seasons did they get?
They got 15 seasons.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
So, what episodes of Supernatural were you in?
Never been in Supernatural.
What about
what?
It's funny because there's I think there's like a benchmark of certain Canadian shows you have to hit in order to be like considered a Canadian actor, and I've not been in any. I think you need like Degrassi under your belt. And
is there still a form of Degrassi going on somewhere?
I actually don't know. It's one show I've never watched in my entire life, so I actually don't know anything about the show.
I grew up in Seattle in the 80s with Canadian family, so whenever I would go to my grandmother's, she would have taped whatever season of Degrassi it was. So like from 80. Whatever fucking year it started, I watched Degrassi.
Has it been around since the 80s, really?
Oh yeah. In the new generation one that came out like 10 years ago or whatever, most of the parents were the original actors from the 80s.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like Spike, Wheels. I don't remember if they used the same nicknames or not.
I think Wheels is
Joey.
the only thing I can ever refer to from Degrassi. I know nothing else except for Drake was on it.
And Drake was no,
I think it was Drake.
No, not the original.
Cool name for Drake.
Not the original. But let me tell you, when I saw Aubrey Graham being introduced as Drake the first time, I was like, nuh-uh. No, that's that kid.
So do you guys have questions for Dan about this episode? Because TR usually has lots of stuff written
I usually
down.
have stuff that I, would comment on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the dating app conversation between Riley and Jonesy was so perfect from a woman's point of view, because a lot of the things that they said are things that I see discussed, like the holding the fish picture. 99% of the people that I know that use dating apps for one thing or another will comment on that particular thing and be like, oh God, it's another guy with the fish. Or,
I'm proud to say fishless on my dating app. 100% no fish.
And thanks to you, I hadn't heard of Rhea until this episode. So
right.
Like, what the fuck is that? It's for celebrities.
If you want to be a sugar baby, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there you
or
go.
Sugar daddy.
I could be a sugar baby. I'd be happy to be a sugar baby.
I want to be a sugar baby. I
Rhea
married wrong.
guys.
I can't help it.
Hey, yeah.
I married wrong.
You fucked up.
I fucked up. Also, I picked the wrong career.
You got all of this.
The other one was Bumble. Ladies have the first choice ordeal. I can totally see that, because that is one that most of the women that I know on it are not into men necessarily. Because it's you men cannot approach you, so they feel more comfortable being on that. Yeah. I was like, you don't even know what that is.
Clever girls.
Put a lot of research into that bit. That's why it's resonating so
it's fantastic.
And is J Swipe actually a thing?
J Swipe is definitely a thing.
All right, right on.
Yeah.
I wonder if
J Swipe, or was it like, I thought that was a play off of J Date, because I remember that.
There is J Date and there is J Swipe. J Swipe is an app. It's definitely real.
Right on.
It just needs more patrons.
Well, I'm willing to convert.
I mean, technically, my 23andMe came back saying that my great grandfather was Ashkenazi Jewish. So
there you go.
Nobody knew that particular grandma had 4 husbands, and nobody knew which one my family line came from. So now we do.
I guess mazel to the both of us, because that popped up on my 23andMe as well. And I'm Puerto Rican from the Bronx.
I'm gonna be
mine was a Canadian logging camp, is where great grandma lived. So.
And I'll come up like Uncle Ruckus from Boondocks. 100% black. Right?
White
Praise my Jesus. God bless America.
You'll have to excuse him. That's the other podcast we do.
We'll do another podcast about the Boondocks. But yeah.
I've asked Dan all the questions I've got to ask. And I told him I'd make it short. So we do a game here, Dan.
Oh yeah. Let's do the game.
Now I know
if you have enough time.
Of
course.
It's called Fuck Fight Ferda. It's our version of Fuck Marry Kill. So we go through each character, and you're obviously on the episode as well. So I mean,
would you like to fuck, fight, or further yourself?
We usually do it. We do it for the episode. For those who aren't on the show a lot, they can you can choose each character. You want to fuck them, you want to fight them, or you just want to be their buddy. So that's kind of how we do it instead of marrying or killing someone. So
we try to keep it true to each episode. I'm just a guest on today's episode.
But you come more often.
But yeah, like
hey now.
That's what she said.
I heard it before any of you. That's so different from what I'm used
all right.
to.
We're gonna go there.
Are you coming?
But
getting harder?
Is it hard? Is it getting harder?
So what's the Ferda one?
Ferda's just like
pals with?
Yeah, just be buddies. So
like Ferda.
So
now, if you're not comfortable doing that because you've worked with these people, I understand. So
that was pretty much.
I'm giving you an out if you want it.
Derry gets Ferda a lot.
Yes,
he does.
Usually doing something boneheaded crap, and he's like, "Oh, he needs a friend."
Okay, so here's my answer.
Okay,
and I think this is the best way to go about it. Fuck Avi Goldstein, because man, is he a good-looking chap?
He's a very handsome fella.
Whoever that guy is, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight Coach because I think he just needs to let some steam off.
Oh my god, I felt so bad for him.
I just love the Coach character so much. I want him to let it all out, and if I'm his outlet, then so be it. So let's fight. And
well, see now here's the thing. You don't have. So what we do is we go through each one, and you just say, "I'm going to fuck him. I'm going to fight or a Ferda," and we go through each one. So you don't have to just pick 3 characters. So that's how we do it.
Oh wait, okay. Explain that again.
Okay, so I'll start off with Wayne, and so everyone will then say, "Yeah, I'd fuck Wayne in this episode because he was, blah, blah, blah." Or I have a lot of people who say, "I want to fight Wayne just because I want to get his respect." So you with me now? So, and then we go through, then we Katie and then Derry. So we go through everybody.
But like he said, feel free to, not we've talked to a few people from the show, and sometimes like Trevor is I can't say fuck, so they're all my friends. They're all Ferda. No, that one's Ferda. No, I'd fight him. They're all Ferda. No, I can't say fuck. So
I got it.
So
okay.
All right. So I'm gonna
come with you.
Playing the bumper. All right. So, and I've already done the spiel. I mean, this is our version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. And I'm going to start off like I always do with Wayne. So, Rene, I'm going to have you go first.
Wayne's you want to boot over? Like that just was annoying the shit out of me. I think I might want to fight him this episode, even though I really got to respect that. Like this is the first time he fought, kind of publicly was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go have sex, guys, later."
Right,
nap-ish.
First time in 9 seasons where it was like, "Sorry, guys, gotta go bone." It was just like, whoa. But no, I'm fighting him because you want to boot over.
Yeah.
You want to boot over? Boot over? You boot over?
Boot over? You hung over?
Boot over?
Shit out of me. We're fighting today. That's how I'm helping his hangovers.
Dean has recently discovered TikTok and does that scene. It's just
I did the that's the
Oh fuck, no, I'd boot over. Rosie, boot over. Dan, boot over.
I'd boot over.
Katie, boot over. Dan, boot over.
I'm surprised we're not booting over right now.
Fuck boys. Let's boot it.
Let's boot it. I'm going to say Ferda in this one, although I'm going to be different with his girlfriend.
Hey now.
I mean,
I love Clark Bacco. She's gorgeous. Yeah. So
all the women on the show do.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely.
and very talented.
So where are you with Wayne, or you can choose to abstain with Wayne if you'd like.
Oh, and also this is also keeping in mind that we're assuming consensual everything in this, like
assuming consent, and if you wanted to, yes.
Oh yeah, no, I've had chosen times to fuck Wayne. Wayne and I were fucking on a couple episodes.
Yeah, and he was into it too. It's
right,
sure,
right. So we're going under that assumption.
I'm gonna Ferda. I'm so down to boot over anytime.
Yeah, boot
over right now. Surprised we're not booting over right now.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Well, actually, we have about 14 inches of snow outside, so that's why we're not booting over anywhere.
We've got a Jim Dickens of snow outside.
Oh my God,
Miss Katie, Renee.
Yeah, no, she's extra horny today, so we're fucking.
Right?
She's got the hungover hornies.
And also she's in the middle of scorched earth.
That's true. And you're not from Letterkenny, so you're safe.
With all of that in mind, for like the probably third time ever, I'm going to say fuck her.
All right. Pitter patter, Daniel.
I'm gonna the Michelle Milet's delivery of Gordon Ram's
my goodness, right?
Gordon Ram's
so on point. I think I got to be friends with her.
Totally. Yeah.
Ferda,
Katie. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Derry.
He was just part of the scenery in this one, right?
There's not, Derry didn't have a lot. So, I mean, you run into some Derry-centric episodes. This was not one of them, and that's okay.
Derry's, Derry, I'm going to fuck Derry. He needs some love. He's down and out a little bit with the ladies. And so
he's got to change the barn clothes.
Yeah.
That's what I said the last episode. I'd be into him if he wasn't in the barn clothes all the time.
Well, he's a handsome fellow. Why wouldn't you be?
And he's funny, and he's loyal.
Oh,
but get out. Oh, I can't. I have a thing with smells, though. I really. So I'm going to say Ferda because he needs to.
Sounds good.
Use a lot of bleach.
Renee?
I'd probably fuck him, pity fuck him, just because no one else is. I mean, and it's just.
All right.
It's got to be. It's got to be sad to see his ex with.
So you can both Eiffel Tower him. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Squirrely Dan.
There's something I didn't mention when we talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How uncomfortable he was with. Well, he always is with conversations turning to sex and like wanting to have this normal conversation. And I, like the first time we watched this episode, I remember turning to you and going, "Have we ever in 14 years had a conversation that didn't turn into sex somehow?"
I mean, this conversation is about sex as it is.
Really, exactly. And it's that way with my friends, too. Eventually, it's like porn or sex or something will enter into the conversation because that's just, that's to be human. Daniel.
Well, I think, and I wonder if it is with Dan that he's uncomfortable because he's in mixed company between Ellen, who's very open, and Wayne, who is not open at all about.
True, but I mean, it was kind of perfect the way that Wayne and Rosie,
of course,
without even talking to each other, just looking at each other. We're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to say Ferda for Dan,
all right,
which I know is different from usual for me. Because really, I really want him to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Ellen's going to be the one to help him with that.
He needs more attentions to his butthole.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And other places.
There you go. Renee,
Dan? Yeah, I'll go Ferda as well. Ferda. Same reasons. He needs a homie.
Yeah.
He'd be a good drinking buddy.
And
he'd crack some great jokes.
K-Trev as Dan.
I would race him. I would race him so fast.
He's like the wind. Rosie. Miss Rosie.
I'm going to go take a nap-ish. I'm going to use that line.
I want to say Ferda, just because I loved how she kept getting annoyed at fucking Gaylor's fucking bullshit. Yawn.
Well, it's only, I wonder if it's on, like, would she respond that way? Because Gail and Ellen are very similar people, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Like kindred spirits. Is she going to respond to Ellen that way? Or is it just because it's her cousin?
I think it's just because she's tired of hearing her cousin saying it over and over again. It's just,
So where are y'all on Rosie?
I'm fighting her.
You're gonna fight Rosie?
Yeah.
No, Ferda, Rosie.
She's scrappy, I bet.
Yeah, she'd probably kick my ass. But Ferda Rosie, because then if she's not kicking your ass, then Wayne's kicking your ass.
Definitely,
Ferda
exactly. Renee?
I said Ferda.
Oh, did you? Okay, I missed it. All right. Bonnie McMurray.
Okay, so normally, and I'm still saying Ferda for this, but I'm going to explain something a little different than normal. Not because she's too young for me. She is just
she's the same age as my daughter.
Yes.
So.
She's adorable. She's beautiful. She is too young for me. If she wasn't, this episode, she looked like I could break her.
Oh my God.
I am not a small person. I don't tend to be interested in small people because I will break them.
All right, then.
Fair enough.
So
good enough. All right, fellas.
I'd break her.
You'd break her willingly, though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, you guys are younger than me, so that's...
Yeah, she'd break you.
I'm 52, so...
Ferda. Bonnie McMurray. You got to make friends with
she is awesome.
Whoever's working at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever's at the bar, it's got to be your Ferda.
Hell yeah.
Otherwise, you complicate things. You don't want to fight them. You don't want to fuck them.
Right.
You just want to
Can confirm.
Exactly.
Can confirm as a former 20-something single person who was in a bar every night of the week.
There you go.
So now, because they share a single brain cell, Riley and Jonesy are one item together. So where are we on? Right? You get Riley, you get the double pack.
I fight him because fuck, I'd have scrap. Why not?
You know,
have a Donnybrook.
I would actually want to fight them in this one too, and that goes back to God. Coach just looked so pathetic and sad, and just walked away. Like they just cut the conversation and walked away.
Yeah, and
that's so rude.
And even after they realized that they weren't going to smash any tail from their dating apps, they could have just gone and drinking with Coach.
Right. I mean, and I understand that Coach makes them uncomfortable. I totally understand that.
Barb.
Totally. But he's so sad.
Barb's Bartholin Glens.
Fucking whoever wrote that into the episode, I would like to punch them because he doesn't fucking stop now. Bartholin Gland. I had no idea what Bartholin glands were until Letterkenny. I had never knew. So, folks, go look up Bartholin glands.
He could make anything funny.
Yes.
He's Mark Forward is.
Oh my God!
Oh hell yeah!
He's magic. He is magic.
So, Renee.
Who are we on? Sorry,
Renee was Riley and Jonesy.
I'm gonna Ferda just because they're yes, they have ulterior motives, but they're helping kids. So I love helping the kids.
Sure, yeah. That's why they're helping the kids.
Good answer.
Ellen.
I would fuck Ellen.
Oh hell yeah, fuck yeah.
Like I don't care. Like I'm 5'0". I would climb her like a telephone pole.
Yeah.
Well, if we're all doing it, then guess I'm in.
Tag team.
She'd probably like that and be very okay with it. Also, she's a masseuse.
You're gonna fight her.
That's totally.
I'm gonna fight her because she's. I feel like she's keeps making Squirrely Dan uncomfortable, and on top of that, I don't like anything near my butthole.
I am so sorry.
Until you've tried it.
I've tried. Trust me.
Not with the right people.
Anyway, let's go on with Stuart.
Oh God, Stuart. Stuart had some really creepy faces in this episode.
Episode?
He's really perfected it in the last few years. Tyler Johnson has I don't know how he makes his cheeks puff up like that because they always look bigger when he looks down and then up. I can't. Well,
they all kind of do the Kubrick thing.
Yes.
I mean, and Evan does it perfectly.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Yeah. Evans is very
There's definitely a Clockwork Orange vibe there with their get-ups.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. He wasn't mean to Rold in this episode, so I'm going to say Ferda.
Yeah, he picked him up.
Yeah.
All right.
Sex?
Same, Ferda.
Sex.
But when like Rold is saying it to him and he's like, sex? Yeah, okay.
All right.
That was cute.
Roldy.
I love Roldy.
Who doesn't love Roldy?
Like,
I'm gonna fight him.
Oh!
Because I want to see like if he incorporates breakdancing into his fighting style.
Probably.
Because that would be so cool. Even if I got beat up, it would still be so cool to be a part of it.
Well, yeah, because we got to see how he fought in that one episode where Stuart was learning to fight, and he was just
scrappy.
Yeah, he's scrappy and fucking sneaky.
That's what my last time.
He grabbed the fucking bottle, and he's just like he's about to kill somebody.
Yep. I mean, that's definitely the kind of friend I would like to have. But also, Rold is always on my fuck list because if I was a gay man, Rold would absolutely be in my pocket.
Sure. Rold is adorable. How could you not love Rold?
Evan Stern is adorable.
Oh, true.
Fucking love him.
Yeah. Renee?
Yeah, he's great.
Ferda.
Ferda. All right.
He's
we're on the whole,
especially because he needs a friend to help him off the floor.
We got the whole group here. We got a fight and a Ferda. Gaylor. She'll make you into a man, even if you're not one.
Yeah, you gotta fuck Gaylor. Just to, I know what I said about the bartender thing, but also like, aren't you a little bit curious at this point?
Oh, seriously.
You know, so I think you just go there.
I mean, and
I feel like that's what Jim Dickens did. Was, you know what? I really want to I want to find out what this is like, and now he can't. Like he keeps coming back, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah,
I hope that continues.
Alex is great. I mean that. He's
beautiful timbre to his voice.
Oh yeah,
that timbre in his voice is just unreal.
Would care to go for round 2?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So yeah, he's great. How is everybody? Fucking Gail. Yeah, hell yeah.
Just like Dan says, I've just got it just for the sake of knowing.
Yeah.
All right. Jim Dickens.
I mean, he would scare me if it's really, but yes.
Yes. Okay.
Again, climb like a telephone pole.
All right. Gotcha.
No to butt stuff. We can be Ferda. I got no problems with that, man. We're homies.
I'm fighting him. If you could take down a guy like that, then no one's fucking with you. So I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah, you know what?
I want to know if he auctioneers while he's fighting.
Taking down 1, down 2, taking down 3, and he's down for the count.
Punch me with 1, 2, and 3, but then I.
We do need to see Dickens in a fight. I think that would be awesome. Coach.
I'm gonna Ferda.
I'm gonna insert my answer from before, where I'm gonna fight him. He needs to get it all out.
Yeah.
I'll say Ferda, so I'll have the beer after the fight with him.
Sounds good. And we have one more. This guy, Avi Goldstein.
Oh, he's pretty hot.
It wasn't until, because we watch each of these episodes probably 5 or 6 times, and it wasn't until the last time I watched it that I noticed you were wearing your yarmulke. So I'm like, oh shit, he's got his yarmulke on. I didn't even realize it. I was not paying. It was like, I guess
it's usually the 5th or 6th time when you start noticing the little details and like people's faces and stuff. Yeah.
So the next 5 times you watch it, you'll notice there's a hockey stick and a puck on the yarmulke, actually.
Shut the fuck up. I totally missed that. That's
awesome. I don't think you could even see it. It's like the actual yarmulke is like, it's like blue with like dark blue on it. It's dumbest color coordination. It's like they wanted to veer a little bit from religion. So like, we'll put some cool hockey stuff on it, but not in any color. Not in any color so people could see it. Just be subtle with it.
Put the hockey sticks and the Star of David. Yeah,
exactly. In that shape there.
Exactly.
Oh, you could totally do that.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it.
I'd be surprised if somebody hadn't done it. I'm surprised we're not doing it right now.
That's it.
Renee?
I'd say Avi he's a real mensch. So I'd say Ferda. Yeah, I mean willing to risk a little bit of his race for the boys.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's definitely a mitzvah. So,
and I can help that race by being at least by blood Jewish.
There you go. So that's I think that's everybody. Did I miss anyone? I don't think
so in this one.
I mean, you got the other skids. Oh God, Connor and Darian.
Connor and Darian.
I don't know why it wasn't coming to me.
I mean, there's subtle work, like when he was like, he timed the exhale of his vape as the train was coming through it. Like it's
tapping
like
the coke onto the back.
it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, he gets fucked for that.
Yeah.
Like, who was he for? Like, what was that for? I mean, for me, obviously.
Yes.
But like,
yeah.
And one of the things, I've always said this, the skids are Shakespearean fools.
Yes.
They have creative lines, brilliant words, yet they're complete idiots. So, so I think that's the only thing I can think of every time I see them is they're just that brilliant.
Yeah, brilliance in their stupidity. It's awesome to watch. They're like Pinky and the Brain, those two.
Definitely.
Oh, that just reminded me of. I have two of the lines in this show that I wrote down because they were just my favorite things, and that just reminded me of "Clueless is my resting face." Because I can totally identify with that. I have resting pleasant face and it fucking sucks. It's great as a teacher, but like when I'm sitting on the bus and someone thinks, "Oh, she's very pleasant, I'm going to talk to her." No, fucking don't.
No.
And then my favorite of the beer ones was the Michelob Bones.
Michelob Bones, yeah.
Yeah, that's really subtle. That's cool you picked up on that one because that's like a very inside thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the first one. I think that was the first one that really stuck out to me was the Michelob Bones. I'm like, hell yeah, because you're getting back to Bradley, and so when are you coming back to write more on the show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. Abby Goldstein will be back.
Nice.
And he's definitely sticking around. So
excellent.
Cool.
That'll happen.
I think what I would find interesting is if Glenn got converted. Rabbi Glenn, could you imagine that? I mean.
Mazel tov.
Really flipping the script on everybody.
He'd be all about the mitzvahs, though.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my God. That was brilliant. Yeah. So
Dan, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hell yeah. And once you're, so season 10 maybe, or is that we can
just future? We know there's going to be a 10.
Yeah, we do know that there's going to be a 10.
Eventually.
I mean, that's because we had I'm a mod on the Letterkenny subreddit, and we just had Tierney on, and he's definitely confirmed that there will be a 10. So, but we
man, I want to talk to Tierney so bad.
He's awesome. I read a little bit of that AMA that he did, a couple of questions, and he had some really good answers for a bunch of them.
It was a very brief AMA, but it was really good. So it's great.
He's awesome, man.
Yeah, and we should have you in there as well at some point to come through, and especially if you're on 10. I mean, getting some behind the scenes stuff would be great. So yeah, we'd love to have you on.
Sure, yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Beautiful. All right. So, anything else that we need to final thoughts, et cetera, et cetera?
I'm good.
Yeah. No. You think?
I mean, one thing I did notice. Did you guys notice the rolled painting in their basement?
I've seen it before. Yeah. I mean,
I hadn't noticed it until this one.
Oh yeah, I think that's fan art.
It's such a great.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's fan art.
I think it's fan, or it could be one of those that what's her name? Danny has done. She's the one who created.
Also, I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She created the Puppers logo. One of the
it's awesome to see how much Letterkenny, like, because I go on the Letterkenny subreddit a bunch and see all like the posts and the memes and everything, the artwork that everyone's created. It's pretty awesome, man. That they've kind of reached that kind of widespread that people are really, really appreciating it from all over the world. It's awesome.
It's great, and it's amazing. We're over 200,000 people in that subreddit now, so cool. It's crazy. So
I know nothing about Reddit other than when I'm looking for an answer to something. I am not a Redditor.
if I'm looking for an answer for something, or
usually having to do with this show or the Boondocks one.
Boondock, yeah, that one. So, yeah, or puppies.
Or puppies.
Yes.
Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Renee, thanks for coming on. We
It's
love
always a
having you.
pleasure to have
So-
our resident joint boy.
our own resident joint boy. Yeah, exactly. So let's kick things out here. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us this week. Join us again next week as we do season 9, episode 5 sleepover with our special guest, also an old timer. Awesome. Thanks to Jack Rainwater of the Hard Money Saints for the intro and outro music. Thanks again to Dan and Renee for joining us today. It's been brilliant, and we look forward to talking to you both again. Have a great weekend.
Baby,